All right, welcome guys to the Rock Lansing interview. I got Crobot. Welcome, guys.
Woo! What's going on?
No, not much, man. I guess I'm gonna start out with how did all the members in the band meet?
Me and Brandon played in a band together in like 2011, and our singer quit, and he started singing, and we just started Crowbot up. And when I decided to move to Austin, I we had some member changes at the time, and I met Mr. Dan here
Through a Craigslist ad.
through a Craigslist ad. We met at a bar and had sex with him. And Pat is, come on in here, Pat.
Say hey.
That's
We met
Pat.
Pat in the bathroom. He's coming out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's where he likes to sleep there.
He just got done shaving his head. I saw that video, that one promo. Where he was shaving his head.
Isn't that the best? That was the best one we all
smooth
did.
as a baby.
And like the extreme lighting made him, it was given like Danzig vibes for some reason.
Yeah, a little dark and mysterious for sure.
That's definitely Pat. He is mysterious. Dark, I don't know. I think he's very
pale. More like white chocolate.
Yeah, it's I always say that I only get some sun in the summer because I gain more freckles. I don't really tan. It's just more freckles.
People are tattooing those on their skin now. You see that?
That's
Is
weird.
it like permanent?
Freckles?
Or
Yeah. Just like
permanent?
just like a tan color. Like girls are getting them like tattooed up. Amber's got some
Is there a name for them? I feel like there's probably some kind of trendy
tattooed
name.
freckles.
That's funny.
Freckles.
So the next question: you guys have a name for kind of what you call your fans? What is that?
Breados. And it just came from our weird friend Randy. Actually just came up with the name, and I was like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. And then 10 years later, we realized that it might be a little, non-inclusive to certain aspects of life and
People who can't grow beards.
people who can't grow beards. Right. I am one of those people, though, so I cannot really grow a beard. This is all I got. But I consider myself a beardo. I think it's more of an inner mentality, really. So
Absolutely.
That's cool.
The beard is within.
the beard is within.
Yeah, I just roll with the perma beard, so because if I don't have the beard, it's like it looks like I'm coming of age. So
Yeah. When I shaved my beard, I realized that I don't have a chin and I'm fat, so I always just grow it back. I regret it immediately.
for sure. So who was it? Whose idea was it to crawl out of an egg on stage? And how did that come about?
For that. Yeah. Usually, most of the dumb stuff we do comes from my head, and we regret it later. But no, we still have the egg, and it might make a return at some point. But for now, we've put it on hold.
Yeah,
We've just gotten lazier, you know.
I remember seeing you guys at the Loft in Lansing, and you came out of the egg, and I was just like, cool. Like, you don't see a lot of bands at like club shows kind of trying to do any theatrics, so I thought that was sweet. I don't know, just unique. So
that's what it's all about, right? I try to think of it like when you were a kid and you went and saw a band, the things that stuck with you was like how they came out, what they said between songs, and like your favorite tunes, right? So I don't know, try to create those moments. Sometimes they're home runs, sometimes no one gets it, but we have fun doing it, so who cares?
That's all that matters. That matters. What's because I mean you guys have been on tour for a long time. Like, what's one of the craziest stories that you guys had? Like, bus broke down or just weird, crazy stuff that happened?
We've got a million, but one time we were in LA getting ready to leave. We heard a crash. There was a big crash in front of us. This was on Sunset Strip.
Yeah, right outside the Viper Room.
Yep. And our bass player at the time, Eddie, was like, I think that's Ron Jeremy. And sure enough, it was Ron Jeremy. He ran a red light and smashed into the back of someone. So we went over there to help him. And he was like, I can't find my keys, guys. Can one of you get in my car and help me find my keys? I was like, what? What are you talking? You know, that's crazy. You just got in a wreck. But so I got in his car, littered with McDonald's wrappers and like fast food stuff. That mixed in with headshots, like crumpled up 80s style, like headshots of black and gray, like photos of him. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I found them. They were in my pocket. So I was like, okay. And he had blood on his arm. And he was like, is anyone a medical professional? And we're like, no, don't touch us. And
Uh-oh.
I just moved.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Reframe.
cool. Oh.
Reframe. Reframe.
Oh,
Technical.
That's way worse.
way better.
Okay, so
Technology.
I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, we're
So,
okay.
So that happened, right? Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. That happened, and he was like, "Could you guys?" And we met him a million times. He tried to get us to take him all the way across town. And we had to go leave on tour, and we were like, "We're sorry, we can't." So we pushed his car. We pushed his car to the.
I like this. This is kind of fun.
We pushed his car to the gas station and told him, "Sorry, bud, but we're leaving you here." And yeah, that was sort of the end of that. But very strange interactions.
Yeah, I can see that. That does sound like a pretty weird. Pretty weird
He's weird. He's a weird guy. Can you just turn that off?
No.
Brandon was talking this camera thing up. He's like, "You should get one. They're awesome."
It's never done this before. Of course.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Fun.
yeah. You can keep asking questions. We'll just come in and out of frame here.
So the next question, what was it like working with Howard Jones?
Oh, dude, Howard. Uh oh. Hold on, we'll figure this out one way or another. So we worked with Howard before on a song called "Kiss It Goodbye," and that song was killer. Like it was on the you can tape it. There you go.
No, that'll burn the motor up.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, is that better? Almost.
It's keyed in on your burrito.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do this. Ha ha! Yeah.
If you can get it to lock on you, that's what's going on. It's locking on me. No.
I'll just stay here. That's all.
This is
Here.
fun.
If you move and let me go where you're at, it'll fix itself because then it'll track on me.
Why are you the chosen one?
I'm not sure. I just don't want to bump your coffee.
That's fine. You're not. Classic. All right.
Stay. Danny.
So, perfect.
And
We
back.
So we did that song with Howard back in the day. He came down to Austin and he came to my house, like walked my dog, which is like crazy. You would have told me 15 years ago Howard Jones would be helping write some of our songs and walk my dog. You know, it's crazy. But this newest song, that was the last song that we had, and we were throwing around ideas on it. Nothing really stuck, and we sent it to Howard, and we just got on some calls, talked some things through, and everything that God does is just gold. So we knew it was going to be great.
I saw that you guys played shows with like Motorhead and Anthrax. What was that like? Because I mean, Motorhead is just a legend. I look at they're right up there with Metallica and those type of bands.
Yeah, man. What do you think, Brandon?
I tell this story all the time. It never gets old. Being in a room with Lemmy was like no other experience that I've ever felt. You know, that was as close to music royalty that I've ever been. And to know what that guy has done and to kind of do it in the face of everyone telling him that he can't and continue to do it for 40 years was, that's the guy. That's the guy that we all look up to as he died with his boots on, and that was that tour for us, was seeing that in action, seeing a crew that was a family. All these guys was just, and seeing them now around festivals and things, they're all still tight with each other, but that was a different experience, experiencing the whole thing of what Motorhead was. It wasn't just a band. It was life, for all of those guys.
It really was a family. You could tell they'd been on the road for 30 years but like, I remember the first time he walked into the room, Brandon was like, "Oh my God, there's Lemmy." And like, there was an aura around him, you know what I mean? And like, also I was like afraid to look at him. I was like, "Oh my God, this is freaking Lemmy," But it's one of those things, like, you don't want to, I don't know, you don't want to bother someone. You don't want to come off uncool. You don't want to punish them. You want to give them their space, but you don't want to come off standoffish. So I don't know. I was afraid to look at him.
But he's pretty like personable, and
he's
like,
super cool. Oh, yeah. He's the coolest. And he was like not in the best health at that time, and he was still very, very kind and awesome to us.
What about the guys in Anthrax? Like, was it fun? Was it fun playing with those guys?
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're killer, man.
It was the coolest coming off stage. Well, Joey would come off a stage and he'd be soaking wet and sweat, from doing his thing. And he'd be so proud every night because he'd come to us and he'd guys, look what I got again for you tonight, boys. Another joint. He would just get people to throw joints on stage for us.
Yes. Yeah. And so there's this awesome, we were on that tour. There's this moment, I forget, it was like Metal, some reviewer, they wrote a review that said Crobot came out and they were great, and Anthrax came out and the phenomenal performance, but for some reason Joey Belladonna kept trying to get people to throw weed on stage, and he was like, it was just a weird thing because he like kept egging people on to like throw it on stage. And it was all for us. So I think that I thought that was hilarious. Like,
that's cool.
He did it to a fault. He like tried to get weed for us so bad that it was weird in their show.
So I want to talk a little bit about Obsidian. Did I say that right?
Obsidian.
Yeah. So is it fair to call that a concept album? Like,
not fully, but I think that there are themes, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything's thematic with the records. That one certainly has its themes, more about the human emotion and human condition and things of that sort, more or less, a lot of, and how it ties to, like old mysticism and the occultism and lores of old.
Did the name is, it's like when lava hardens and gets, I guess, exposed to air and hardens. So you guys kind of took it from that, or?
The story goes, at the back of my house, I had a strange magnetism to something back there, and I was in a very woo-woo moment of my life where I was, grounding and doing yoga and waking up in the morning and getting, infrared and all that whole thing, and I was like, I should just go back there. I think something's calling me back there. And I went back there, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life. I thought I was going to come back with malaria. I was eaten alive by mosquitoes, and it was certainly not an existential awakening. I was like, well, I gotta get something from this, you know. So I went over and I was like, oh, I'm gonna touch a tree or something, try to get something from this experience. And I looked down at my feet, and it was a softball size ball of obsidian, and it was face up. And I thought it was coal because I'm from central Pennsylvania, and it's just everywhere. So I'm like, that's a pretty big piece of coal. I picked it up, and it was not coal. Wow, holy shit. And of course I love Game of Thrones, so I'm like, it's dragon glass.
Yeah.
And I went back, and I'm thinking, this must be pretty common to find if I found it just face up at the root of a tree in my backyard. Turns out not so much. It's pretty uncommon. And I just took this and kind of created this concept out of it as this is my lore relic, if you will, something that I look to because obsidian is tied to very symbolic to truth and finding truth, and I took that as like, hey, this was presented to me at this time. I'm supposed to find the truth, and that was the exercise of the lyrics in Obsidian was my exercise of finding the obsidian and using the tool.
And a lot of your stuff is like pretty fast paced, but you guys end the album with Happiness, which is a pretty goddamn good ballad. I feel like. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to use the term ballad, but it's pretty goddamn close if it's not. But
it's like our first ballad.
What kind of inspired you guys to because I feel like that kind of shows a little like more depth that you guys have, just because it's a little bit different from what you've done before.
Yeah, we've always wanted to do an acoustic song, but they never really turn out that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it always ends up getting really heavy, or it's just the intro is acoustic or clean, and then it gets heavy. We can't, inevitably it always ends up there, but we put a governor on ourselves, wrapped it around our waists, and wrote an acoustic song. It's still a ripping solo in it.
I was going to say, it's very
It's still good. Dimebag had to jump out of my chest like a, what are those things called? Alien? Chest burster?
Yeah. What's your guys like favorite song to play live off the album?
Metal. Mine's Metal. It's like Motorhead. Or it's our Motorhead song.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
for the vibe.
For me personally, like your guys' album and probably Nothing More was probably my favorite albums of last year. Like I just think that album from start to finish is just great, and you don't find albums these days. I feel like that from start to finish, there's not like a bad song. Like they're all they're all solid, all great songs. So it's so yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited to see you guys play it live, and I mean you guys are on kind of the tour with it right now, so what's kind of been the reception with it?
We've been playing the songs for a little while. We like to test them in the waters of just playing them live, see how they feel, because that's the ultimate test to us. And we've often found, regardless, they change when we play them live for a few years anyway. So some of them feel a lot older than they are, but the set just feels better with the new material. One of my favorites to play is From the Ground, and I think on the record it's a journey, but even more so live, and it just fits really nicely in the set.
Bands that you haven't toured with that you would love to be on a tour with, like who are those?
Queens of the Stone Age. Mm-hmm. Foo Fighters. Rival Sons.
Yeah, and like,
because you guys have toured with Clutch, haven't you?
Yeah, we'll do it again.
I love
throwing that out there.
Like All Them Witches, or like one of the bigger stoner bands. I think that'd be good for us. All Them Witches or Elder. Just waiting for that Caius reunion. Waiting for that Caius reunion that we can get on.
Or have Sleep, where they have one album that's an hour long.
Monster
right there. It's right there, actually.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Dope Smoker.
Yeah, Dope Smoker.
Yeah, or Atomic Bitch Wax. I'd love to tour with those guys.
Cool. And so obviously you guys are influenced by Soundgarden. Is there other like grunge bands that kind of influence you?
Yeah,
Alice in Chains.
Yeah, I think the newer stuff is more Alice in Chains influence. I feel like we've always sort of had that element of like in the harmonies and like the darkness of the music, but yeah, the newest record more so is definitely in Alice in Chains land more than Soundgarden. But grunge has always been, a big influence for us in general.
What about a band like Corrosion of Conformity? Is that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Grew up listening to that band. What was Deliverance? That's still one of my favorite albums of all time. You're saying like front to back albums. That is a front to back album banger.
Yeah, Clean My Wounds, and I love that song. I don't think it's on there. The song Albatross.
That's on there.
It is? Okay, yeah. But they have in that time frame, they have 2 or 3 albums that are just like pretty killer.
Yeah, King of the Rotten. What's the other one? American Nightmare.
So like someone that's coming out to Rock Lansing and hasn't listened to Crobot, what can they expect from Crobot as a live performance?
Everything but the egg. It's just old school, high energy rock and roll. It's a fresh take on the classics. I feel like, really groove oriented, and I mean, your dad will probably love it, and your mom.
Obviously, we're not really great at running technology, so we just choose not to use it mostly. So we're just gonna get out there and rock.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are kind of known for electric live performances. I mean, that's kind of a lot of people that I've talked to, that's kind of what they've said. So, but I guess the last question, if you guys are football fans, are you Eagles fans or Steelers fans?
Neither. None of us are any of those. We're anomalies. I'm the only one who's actually from Pennsylvania. But I don't root for either. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm an anomaly.
I don't watch the foosball too much, but if I had to pick, I'd probably be an Eagles fan just because, here it's either that or I'm originally from Tennessee, and I don't know.
They got the Titans.
Yeah, I know. They got the Titans, but the Eagles seem more badass.
Well, they just won the Super Bowl, so
right, and so that's good. Luck is on my side then.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions that I had for you guys today. I appreciate you on the jumping on the interview, and can't wait to see you guys at Rock Lansing.
Yeah, man, we can't wait to get there and give you a big sloppy kiss.